You know what you always say too with your lessons is that a lot of time, a lot of us believe that we're home.
Yep. And we make vacation out of captivity.
Yeah.
We're the only people that I know can go in captivity and just leave it up to be like, you're a part of the people. We make vacation out of this. And we've gotten so comfortable with the people, it took when the time for Yahuah to separate us, a lot of them can make it, but they're not going to be able to lose Susie behind.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to leave Elizabeth behind. Because, you know, you feel like, you know, we're one. That's a trick of the enemy. Let me tell y'all something. There's nothing good about, I'm not going to say there's nothing good about diversity, but as for assimilating, there's nothing good about assimilation. When you assimilate and you take on and become another people, you know what that means? That you have taken on everything from that dominant culture that's over you, and you have forsaken, you lose everything about your culture. That's why when you go to school, they don't teach you your history. You learn about their founding fathers. You don't learn anything about yourself. That's called what? Assimilation, because you don't need to know your history. That's not important. If you want to be in this land and be an American or be our people, that means you have to learn everything about us and forsake and forget your history, your heritage. But you know, the Most High said, he said, I'm going to gather them out of their enemy's land. He always has to separate you. There's not a time when he's going to bring you out and bring the nations out with you and not separate them. Even when we were talking last week how we talked about the first fruit of the bigger realm and how that can only be Israel. There's a time when he allowed the nations to attach to Israel. But even with that attachment, when they come out with the Israel or that portion, there's still going to be a separation. Stop trying to be equal and begging to be equal with these people. Because guess what? They're not going to be equal in your land. Let them enjoy what's there, because when it comes to yours, you're going to enjoy it.
That's right.
It doesn't mean you don't even know how to coexist with them, but let them have that. Be satisfied with what you have. We should be prepared to set ourselves up to be like when Joseph and all that, when we had land in Goshen. We were not poor in Goshen. We were very prosperous. And that was a part of the problem. Israel, when it went into Egypt, became, and prospered, multiplied, so it became a very prosperous people in Goshen. We weren't dependent on the Egyptians for nothing. We had ours. And that's the same way here. Instead of us trying to be like them and be with them and want to be in their midst, we should be setting ourselves up to be prosperous amongst ourselves or ourselves. But we've lost that mentality. Because, you know, first of all, I worked hard for this. I bought this. I don't want to share it. I'm going to enjoy this. I'm the one that worked for it. Don't you know if you have an idea or business or anything, the first thing you should do, let's say if I decide to open up a business, the first thing I should do is come up with a plan. How can I employ and put my people, Yashra'al, how can I set this up so they can be gainfully employed? Even though I've gone to the nation's business school, learned about how to set up a business and all, I've got the education, I got the degree, but when we go to the institutions and get this learning degree, it should be to bring it back so you can build and upbuild your people. That's what you go get it for. So, when I set up that business, the first thing I need to do is say, okay then, I know this brother need a job, this sister need a job. What can I do to get them employed? And I know it's hard, that I'm going to be truthful and be honest. That's one thing I'll be forthcoming with. It's hard to put our people to work, because one thing that Israel lacked is customer service skills. I know if I'm going to put them to work, there has to be a training regimen first. You just can't come up with my establishment and work. You have to understand the importance of customer service. And y'all see it today when you go out to a restaurant. You see how we are when we go to these places? And I often tell my Yahusha all the time, I say, if I had a business, I don't know if I could put the nation or Yashra'al, or put us to work in my establishment before they're trained. You go to the cash register. No, first of all, you go to the restaurant, the first thing you see, they're sitting out where the customers should be sitting. They got to get up from there and go back behind the register and take your order and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you got to walk past them and walk through a big old fog of cigarette smoke because they're out front smoking. And this is the thing. So when we go get these skills and things, whatever we do is to what? It should be to build up the nation of Yashra'al. We should be working on or doing something to put ourselves in a position as they work in Goshen. Because, as we said, we're going to get from the lesson, even though we know there's an exodus and we're going to come out of these lands, you still have to keep in mind and prepare for, you don't know what the conditions are going to be even before the exodus. You can't just sit up and say, you know what, we know he's going to deliver and bring us out. Yeah, but you still have to consider that if you know he's going to bring you out, it didn't say that we were going to just walk up out of here. It said we were going to flee. So if you're going to flee, that means someone's in pursuit of you. And people don't just instantaneously, just all of a sudden, just going to start pursuing you. You know they're pursuing you now. You see them gunning you down, shooting you down in the street. What we fail to realize, he talks about Jacob's struggles.
Right.
And you have to understand, he said it will be like what? A woman in travail? And when we look at a woman in travail, before she delivers, her contractions just don't all of a sudden just come second after second after second, every 10 to 15 seconds. They gradually come. They start out, she might have a contraction today, might not have one until tomorrow. But the closer to the time of deliverance, guess what? The contractions are more constant. And before she gets ready to deliver, there's sometimes they're like what, minutes or seconds apart? You know, I'm looking at y'all because y'all ain't have a baby. Aren't they like minutes or seconds apart the closer you get to that time of delivery? And so what you're seeing going on now, these are just birthing pains. Because the closer you get to time for them to get delivered, you're going to really see them act up. And this is why we're going to have to flee. But until that time, so while they're getting to act up, the first thing you do, you know, most of these people, what? On welfare, so one way we can get them, we can cut off the food supply. We can cut the food stamp. We can cut off their sources of, or their means of income, and we can starve them out. But not if you have prepared yourself. We should already be working on things to prepare ourselves. And the good thing about, let's say Yahuah did come and he delivers us out, and we don't need these things. Like I always say, it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. You know you got families and loved ones, you know they're not going to go with you because they're going to think you're a fool for leaving here. So you say, you know, you ain't got to leave, but I'm going to tell you this, times are going to get bad. It's going to get very hard for you here in this land. So what you need to do is, I have this set up over here. So if things should happen, go to this spot right here. Here's some means of survival. Because you yet love your loved one, that's still Israel. Am I right? So if we don't need it, if we hear the call, we hear the cry, we're the big room, we know to leave. So they're going to be in that second gathering. But so we will have prepared some or left something for them to be able to maintain. All righty then. What was that? Go ahead, boy. Help us out.
Just like when you're reading 39 and 27, I remember this book back to my memory about 2 years ago when I first heard it from you, is that a lot of times we're so involved in integrating, but when you go out the scripture where it talks about where when Joseph now was second in command,
Yep.
he speaks with Pharaoh. He's asking for a particular parcel of land. He did not ask for Israel
He
now
did.
to integrate with everybody else. I want them now to dwell in Goshen. And then on top of that now, once they were regathered, Joseph asked everybody else now to leave the room. He exposed himself, but you know, he revealed himself now to his brethren. So, again.
This is what we're reading right here.
Yeah, I mean.
This is what we're saying. I'm going to gather you out, what? From those lands, from amongst the land of your enemy, from amongst the people.
Yeah.
He has to do that. He has to separate you. And then it said, let me go back to that verse. It said, he said, when I have brought them from the people and gathered them out of the land of the enemy and have what? Made them set apart in my, and I am set apart in them in the sight of many nations. But see, that's what you have to focus on right there. He said, I'm going to do this in the sight of many nations. Because people think that our prosperity and our elevation is going to take place once we get out of the land. That's going to be a part of the problem. Because he's going to do it in their midst. He's going to do some things for the nation of Yashra'al before they leave. He did it in the Mizraim the first time. We left Mizraim a prosperous people. We left with all the people silver and gold. Fine raiment, garments. He said there's nothing new under the sun. He's going to do the same thing again. You're not leaving poor. Clothes all torn and dirty. Dingy and molly, as my grandma used to say. No. He's going to elevate you. He's going to extend you before the eyes of the nation. And he's going to do that because you're the one that smeared and smutted his name in their midst and amongst them. Right. So to show the nation that, well, let me read it right here. He said, then what? Then shall they know that what? I am the Yahuah, their Elohim. Who's the day? It's Israel and the other nations. Not only is Israel going to know that he's our Elohim, but the other nations are going to know it as well. Because listen to what it said. It said, then shall they know that I am Yahuah, their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity amongst the heathens. It said, then shall they know that what? I am their Elohim. You see how personal Yahuah gets with this? He said, I'm your Elohim. And this is what I keep telling y'all. No, this book is not by him being for the other nations. I'm sorry. It's about the people that he chose and called to be his and his relationship with them. You've never heard him say, I'm the Elohim of the other nations. He said, I'm the Elohim of Israel and none else. That's another scripture, but we'll get that. He said, I'm the Elohim of Israel and none else. That's why you never see him going to anybody else. Y'all don't find it strange that this whole book is about Israel from beginning to end? You don't see him going doing anything with the nations? The only time you see him speak to the nation, he might send a prophet to a king of a nation where Israel is in bondage. And before he destroys, let me show that one common thing with Yahuah, what he always does is, he never just destroys a people. That's not like him. He always sends forth his witnesses. He always sends forth a warning to the nation. Let my people go. Release my people. Free my people. He never just come and just tear a people. He didn't do it in Sodom and Gomorrah. He didn't do it in Mizraim. I don't care what captivity is. He always go to the heads of those nations first and what? Plead for his people. Let my people go. It's time for them to go. Release my people. The only time they're destroyed when they don't take heed to the word of the prophet that he has sent to them. Y'all see what I'm saying? So, he said he's their Elohim. So that's to be noted and understood, and you always need to see this, because he's very specific and personal when it comes to the scripture. He said, will lead the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries where I had driven them, and what? They shall dwell in their own land. He said they're going to dwell where? In their own land. They shall. So if he said they shall dwell, that means they're not dwelling in their land at this time. As a sovereign nation or a sovereign people, anybody can go over to Israel and live. But it's not till you are a sovereign nation or a sovereign people that this scripture is fulfilled. You got to go over that. You got to depend on the other nations for your resources and all. You're still in captivity, even in that land. Okay, go ahead, Morey. Well, 39:29.
39, okay, 29 verse.
Oh, let me finish that, 28. He said, but I have gathered them unto their own land and have left none of them any more there. So he's telling he's not going to leave any of his children behind. But see, what we don't understand is Israel. The easy part is getting from here, getting out of the land of your captivity or from amongst the nations and getting on the other side of the eastern hemisphere. That's the easy part. Because Yahuah himself told us he's going to do that for you. But when we enter into the wilderness, that's when the trouble is going to begin. He said in the wilderness, he said what? 2/3 of his people going to be cut off? What happened in the wilderness when we entered in the first time?
Killed everybody except anybody in this place.
The ones that came out didn't even enter into the land. A very few of them. But their children that were born during the 40 years in the wilderness, they were able to enter into the land. That's bad. But it goes to show you how hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious the nation of Yashra'al is. For him to say 2/3 of his people shall be cut off, we often say it all the time. You can just break everybody up in groups of 3 and just know 2 out of that 3 are not going to be there. It's not a walk in the park because the nation of Yashra'al does not like instruction. They don't like directions. They want to do things their own way. And I'll tell anybody, y'all often hear me say, it's the easiest thing in the world to make it to the kingdom. There's only a few things you have to do. Listen and obey. When you get to that wilderness, listen to the instructions and obey them. Because when we read of our forefathers coming out of Mizraim the first time, what is the problem? They're not hearing and they're not obeying. You'll find it strange every time you go speak to the nation of Yashra'al, he got to say, Shema Yashra'al, listen, or hear me, Israel. Because we won't hear. Not that we don't have the capabilities to do so. We just refuse to do so because we like to do things our own way. Can't nobody tell us that. I'm a grown man. He put on his pants just like I do. I put on my pants the same way he put his on. Who told him he's supposed to be in charge? And this is what you deal with. Okay, 39, 29 more.
Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my set-apart spirit upon the house of Yashra'al, saith Yahuah their Elohim.
Now, so what we're dealing with here, can anybody tell me, you know why he's talking about the house of Israel more specifically here? Okay, is Judah scattered too? Why's the focus on the house of Israel?
They were divorced.
Okay, because they were divorced. Now they can remarry again. Good answer. Anybody else?
That's all of them together, they came back together to be one nation.
Well, not at that time yet. Right here, he's really focused on the house of Israel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they divorced.
Okay, they're divorced. But remember,
And the house of Judah don't do no wrong, only they did.
well, oh, you said the house of Judah don't do no wrong?
Yeah, another country also too.
Right. So do y'all remember when we read Ezekiel, I'm sorry, do y'all remember when we read Romans, the 11th chapter?
Preach.
When he began to speak about the wild olive branch and all that, we spoke about the Gentiles or the other nations. Not the other nations, but the culture and the wild olive branch, one contrary by nature. What did he say? Remember I broke down that in the Greek how it says, and let's go back to Romans 25 right quick. I mean Romans 11. It might be verse 25 or somewhere around there. Romans 11th chapter. Verse 25, that's the one I wanted. Let's start at verse 24. Can you get that for me? Romans 11 and 24 and verse 25.
For if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Yashra'al or Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
Stop right there. So he said blindness, what? He said blindness what?
Until blindness in part has happened unto Israel.
Until blindness in part has happened unto Israel. So from that lesson, what did we learn about Israel? Who is Israel at that time? Huh? Say it again. Oh no, not at that time. Remember when